What's up? We are here. We're going to get into this conversation. We had a chance of watching Chasing Dallas Season 2 reunion. Let me tell you, it was off the chain. This reunion, I would say, is the best reunion ever of Chasing Reality. Like, this is one of the best, especially for Dallas. Now, when I tell you, when you look at the panel, now let's first get into how it first opened up. It was an hour and 25 minutes, and Iyanla Imani hosted the show. She did an incredible job. And of course, they opened up with Carrie D. So make sure y'all go check him out. They opened up about his song. He looked good in his white. And of course, Markel was talking about the books that didn't sell, talking about he's going to make some movies. Then nobody click on it and watch those movies. But that was that. You see King Beautiful. He was looking very blurry. The camera equipment was just not, they just did him dirty. George looked it good with that hat on. He looked it like he was funeral ready, but he do work for a funeral home, allegedly. We see King Kane. You know, he looked pretty decent. Fresh from Atlanta. He moved to Atlanta, Georgia, to build his career, to be a fashion icon, to probably audition to do Safety Pants with Tyler Perry in Tyler Perry's studio. We also see in this Aubrey and King Kane, they were talking about King Kane's situation in this battle with George. George, Gina, and King Kane were going at it. Baby, they was back and forth going at it, and it was getting to the point it was draining. King Kane was yelling and screaming. He did not let George speak. George was yelling at King Kane, and both of them allegedly, what I heard from my source, that they both have fucked each other. So you see all that type of stuff. My source have told me, I have a very reliable source that said they went to Marty's and they fucked once they left Marty's. But I'm going to just say allegedly because I don't know if it's true or not. Okay? But we know for a fact that King Kane is a top because I put my mouth on his peen, but I knew I couldn't take it inside my booty hole. But they're saying that George took it. All right. Now, all of this is alleged. I don't know how true it is, but all of this is alleged. Now let's continue. The equipment, only thing, it sounded like they were inside a vacuum cleaner. It was like a loud sound, but nevertheless, it was good. I was able to get through the vacuum cleaner sound. It looked like somebody was shampooing carpet. It looked like somebody was just, I don't know what they were doing, deep cleaning, trying to get it cleaned up for the COVID pandemic. I don't know what was going on in that studio. But when I saw Reese G, he literally looked like he was hungry. He looked like a Power Ranger. His makeup looked like he just wasn't together at all. I think he was pissed. I believe Trey Howard was reading him, was upset and mad that he didn't have a seat at the table because they didn't put him in the back somewhere and then put Trey Howard on the show. And he was one of the greatest, if not the most entertaining cast member on the cast. So Ariel, of course, they first of all, let me get to Dior. Dior definitely need his spinoff show. Now, Dior was talking about his father, very emotional, took over the episode. I believe that was one of the best episodes. It was very emotional. I believe Dior need his own spinoff show and featuring, Trey Howard. So I was definitely tearing up thinking about my daddy, saying, who is my father? I was definitely crying and thinking, could it be R. Kelly? Could it be Calvin? Who could it be? I'm just been boo-hooing and crying. But because Dior was telling a story when he was at a gas station, he saw his father. His father did not give him a ride. And Iyanla, the man that's a ripoff of Iyanla Vanzant, I don't know how they was able to do that with our own network, calling them and trying to send him a lawsuit. But anywho, she asked him, what are your relationship with your father? He said they don't have a relationship. Then they asked Ariel about Malaysia booking her. This is going to tear me up. So if I boohoo, don't mind me, and we're going to move on with the show. I just did not like that they brought a Malaysia booker because that's a very, very emotional emotional subject matter. But since they brought it up, I will give my commentary on it. Of course, she was out there prostituting, and allegedly she met the wrong guy and he murdered her. So she was out there prostituting. Now, already, if you all know, Malaysia Booker was in a situation where she got jumped and the guy went to jail for that, but then she was going into hiding, and my good friend Kurt Myers were trying to get her in safety in a house, but Malaysia turned it all down. Of course, they tried to put a GoFundMe together. They raised a lot of money, then they returned the money. Malaysia did not want any other services. She did not want to hide. She wanted to go back and live her life, and she wanted to go back on the street and continue to do street work, right? And everybody know a lot of trans sisters, not every trans sister does street work, but she definitely went back to the streets and did what she know best, and that is to make that money. Unfortunately, she met the wrong client, and they did what they murdered her. And I actually lost the first and only trans sister that I ever been with romantically. I'm not going to say her name because I'm going to keep it private. But she died, and she was from Chicago. And when I got the news, it was like Malaysia was first, then my friend from Chicago. I didn't even know she was in Dallas, and they found her in some water, like somewhere in a lake or some water or something. So I'm like, wow. But we have to be careful and tell a truth to the trans sisters that, listen, you all should not be doing this street work because it's very dangerous work. And if you do that street work, you might not make it home. And that is just what it is. We have to have that serious, truthful conversation because it's almost close to impossible to be safe, because you do have some dudes out here that will suck, will hump, and you be wanting your coins. You be like, hi, where's my money? Where's my money? I ain't got your money. What you mean? You a nigga. I ain't giving you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to fight. Then they want to end a life because they don't want to pay you the money. And then here you go, your life is gone because the man, he done flipped you and dipped you. Now it's time for payment, and he don't want to pay. Or he want to give you $10 and you charge $100 and he's trying to give you 10. But let me move on from that situation. So, of course, Ariel was crying. She was tearing up. Now, Ariel got in a big controversy because she said, I don't care if you get stopped and get shot by the police, kill them, whatever. She was saying a lot of stuff, very emotional. It was very controversial. A lot of people were saying, how can this man say this? They were being very transphobic, but she started to attack Black men that were getting killed by the police. So I was telling folks, she just emotional. I don't really believe she feel this way. I think she just want the heterosexual community to have that same energy when somebody straight get killed by the police as when a trans sister get killed. Because what she's saying is the truth. When a trans sister like a Malaysia Booker, you don't see the heterosexual community leading the charge. Her own mother battled with calling her a woman. She said, this was my son. So that was even a battle. So, in this, it's still a division with trans women and with the heterosexual community. It's just like Wiley, Lord forbid, or if some like a guy were to go by the police and get shot and killed, you may have an international protest. But if a trans sister get killed, you may not get that type of reaction, because the first thing they're going to say, that dude deserved that. He deserved that. He shouldn't be trying to impersonate a woman. So, and then you got the division with Black women that feel as though you don't know my struggle as a Black woman. You choose to transition. I didn't choose to be no Black woman. So it's like a whole battle. But of course, Ariel was crying. She was tearing up. I understand it because I don't understand what she's going through personally, because I'm not a trans woman. But even when they went to New Orleans, she did not go because she remembered when her friend went to New Orleans and she died in New Orleans. So she was afraid. So it's a lot of trans sisters out here that are very fearful. A lot of them is packing heat, just like Maddie. She packed heat because if you understand her story or what she went through, this is the reason why she packed heat. And this is the reason why she always stay ready, because it is some people out here that will take you out. So trans sister, now you do have OnlyFans. So Ina, let me say this before I move on in this fucking reunion. Now, if you want to sell the ping, show your breasts, get you a OnlyFans, okay? You can sling that ping, screw, whatever. Pay me to come do a couple of episodes. Pay me, we can get some scripts together. We could do the Wiley meet the trans, the chick with the D meet the man with the chick with the D meet the manic D, and we could charge people $39.95. So if that's what you want to do, we definitely could do it. We could do the chick with the D meet the manic D for $39.95. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you that right then and there, because we could do that right then and there. Chick with the D meet manic D for $39.95 on Patreon. Now, I'm gonna just say that right now. We get 100 subscriptions, we'll be making $3,995 a month. So anyway, let's continue. All right. A chick with a D meet manic D on OnlyFans for $39.95. Now moving right along. And it is too close for home. They brought it up. Now, George was on the phone. Baby, they having a deep conversation. George was bored. I was a little bored too because the equipment wasn't together. Baby, what's the name looking like? Baby, what's the name looking fuzzy? Because Dior, he looking all blurry. I had to clean my glass. I said, that's me. I said, that's the camera. Then production in the comments said, if y'all experience some bad quality, if y'all experience some bad quality, make sure y'all catch the replay. No, boo, it ain't the quality. It's fuzzy. That camera has some grease on it. All right. And I want to know who was George texting? Was he texting somebody that he was gonna screw? Because he's the biggest whore in Dallas. That's what I heard. Okay, I'm not gonna be honest with you. I'm saying he's the biggest whore in Dallas. That's what I heard. Allegedly, they say he's a whore. They said that he will touch on you, grab on you. He will sleep with you and your man. He's very aggressive. I know somebody that smashed him. You know me. I love to do fact checking. And they said he said, Wiley, when that liquor, he'll grab on your butt. I said he ain't gonna grab on my butt unless I want you to grab my butt. I'm not interested unless you give me some of that funeral money, okay? Unless you giving me, you should wear a crown. Give me some of them coins. Give me some of that homegoing money. Then you could touch on these cakes. All right. So he was doing that. Everybody dragged him for that. Now, then they finally get Dior and Trey Howard on the show to talk about the gay family scene. Now, Trey Howard said something very important. He said that so many gay families out here, some will sleep with their children. I come from that era of gay families from Chicago. And they call it the family scene of Chicago, or they call it Families of Chicago, aka FOC. So shout out to all the families. And in there, a lot of gays will create families by using celebrities. Let me give you an example. Like in Chicago, you got a group of bottoms. They call themselves Kardashians. Now, it's not the Kardashians that you think of. These are predominantly gay bottoms with bad makeup. And if any of the Kim, Chloe, any of these Kardashians, the real mainstream Kardashians, know their name is being used for house parties and all stuff like that. So I'm just telling you, it goes on. They be saying, this is my gay day. They screwing their kids. It's very, very terrible. I can tell you one horror story that happened in Chicago. He was in, quote unquote, the Roman family in Chicago. This is a very true story, but this guy, his name was Jack, and he was dating. They had a gay family, and he was dating this guy, and the guy was sleeping with all the children, and allegedly he had gave him something that he thought was a death sentence, and it wasn't. He could have just took some medicine and moved on. But the guy got on the phone, and he said he was at about Lake Michigan with the water. He said, you're going to cheat on me, and you gave me this. You're going to cheat on me with all these people. I'm going to show you. Everybody know who it was. I got a phone call. Ring, ring, ring. Wiley, did you see Jack? I said, no, I haven't seen him since the last time we went to the movies. What's going on? We was looking for him. We were tweeting WGCI. We were tweeting for help find Jack. We have. Long story short, Chicago Tribune said an 18 or it was a 19 or 20-year-old was found. They don't know who it was, and we all knew that was Jack. Jack commits suicide because, and when all the tea came out, the person that he was dating was sleeping with all his brothers and sisters. These are gays, gay family. He was just screwing everybody. Okay. It was terrible. Diseases, people getting diseases and all types of stuff. Then they went on television and I dragged them. Then they would threaten me. It was terrible. So you got to be careful with that gay family scenes. That could be more ruthless and deadly than your own family. I've seen it happen. So now let's bring it back to Dallas. Now, Trey Howard, Dior is his gay father. Now, one thing I can admit about Dior, he's don't do that with his kids. He don't sleep with his kids. Dior is very respectful in Dallas. I've done my research. I talked to my sources. I begged. I said, do y'all got any dirt? I haven't found no dirt at all. They say he's a very respectable guy. He does a great job. And I wanted to know, do he sleep with any of his children, any of his gay kids? Or, they said, no, Wiley. He don't play that. He always keep him a nigga. And then I had to ask him, is he single? Because I love to hit that. They was like, no, he ain't single. And he said he's not interested. All right. So Trey Howard definitely came in because it was a snooze fest. Now, when Trey Howard came in on the show, he literally woke it up, started dragging in Reese G, calling Reese G a stuffed fat Power Ranger. Go Power Rangers. That's how he looked. He looked like a Power Ranger that literally the show got canceled. He still want to be a Power Ranger, eating, and he tried to, he just a Power Ranger. He was great back in the 90s, had a body, and then he got depressed once the show got canceled. That's how Reese G looked. He looked like one of those Power Rangers that literally the show got canceled, and he didn't know how to deal with being back into society as a citizen, and he still got on that Power Ranger outfit and stretching it. Y'all didn't see some of that, them holes and some of stress like that? I'm just saying. So Trey Howard was letting them have it. And he was like, shut up. And then, of course, King Kang and Trey Howard was arguing like, girl, you look like bugs. Like, did he say you look like a mosquito? Did he say you look like a mosquito or a bug? They were going at it. And the views increased because he brought the drama. Now, I like you, Carrie D, but Carrie D, sis, you should have sat on the back and just exit left because you did not deliver. I heard that you're going to deliver in the next episode, but you just didn't bring that energy. You didn't bring the drama. If you don't come back next season, I won't miss you. But I do believe Trey Howard definitely needs to come on and get him a Texas State. Now, you know how Atlanta give out peaches. I think Trey Howard need a Texas State because sis do need to eat because sis is skinty. So Reese G, put the plate down, and Trey Howard, you eat a steak because he definitely need to be put on the next season. Trey Howard have it. Since King Kang is gone, they need to bring Wiley. They need to bring Trey Howard. They need to bring Dior. They need to bring Markel. They need to bring Reese G and George, right? They bring all the people, that would be the best season that will top that because all of us will be competing. It will just be humongous. Wiley, Trey Howard, Reese G, George, Markel, and Dior. That will be a show, okay? I gotta put myself up in there, okay? I gotta put I already know I gotta put me up in there. I really believe that will be a good, a good lineup. I really believe that will be a good, I really believe that will be a good lineup.
Stupid, I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
All right.
Stupid, I'm not going to let you get the chance.
All right. Okay, we need a complete new cast member. Wiley, what the hell are you going to do, please? Oh, I can't tell you what I'm going to deliver to that season, baby. We definitely going to wake it up. When I walk in the door, it's going to be soon as you walk in, it's going to be a fight, baby. It's going to be a fight every day. Baby, we're going to be knocking out holes every single day. All right, I'm going to just tell you that right now. I guarantee you everybody and their mama will be tuning into that show. Everybody in that will be tuning into that show. It will send shockwaves. It will get international because I'm known in Chicago, in Dallas, Atlanta, in so many markets that will love to see Wiley. Now, if they humble enough to do it. Now, one thing, Dior, you said, got to be a little messy. Dior, you said everybody bitch know you Reese G is broke. When you said that, I literally fell out of my chair because I said it for weeks that they struggled to keep this show going because Reese G was broke and he did not have it like that. And Dior, you confirmed that my source was telling the truth. I am so glad that you put that out there and it said it to him that he was broke. He always be telling like he had it. Like, girl, no, you don't. You rent that car. You get that ain't your car. You rent that from Enterprise to drive it up to the set. You don't own that car. Show me the bill of sale, okay? Show me the bill of sale, then I hush. Maybe they lay Reese because he need to be exposed. He be playing both sides, and he thought he was gonna come out being a star, and he came out being trash. Look like an overweight. He was an overweight Power Ranger. He was too much. Now, while most of us know the show because of your promotion, they need to offer you a coin. You better say, you know what? That's how they know the show. Period. A lot of y'all got caught on because of me religiously talking about the show. I am one of the only strong black content creators that really focus on the show. So I thank them. Thank you all so much, even though we were blocked from the main channel because we were blocked over there. Of course, we always going to be blocked. That's their loss, not my loss. But we thank you to the 77 million people that is here. Now let's move right along to Minneapolis. What's going on? Justice for George Floyd. So a lot of the black people were out there protesting as well as whites. They were burning up CVS. They were burning up Targets. They were burning up AutoZone. They were looting. They were doing a lot of things. And you know what? I'm with my people. If that's what it takes to get some action, then go right ahead. If it takes burning up everything to get some justice and some equality, then that's what we have to do. Last time I checked, last time I researched, Target have insurance. But it is no insurance to protecting a black man from the cops. So if you feel as though that you want to go to the store and burn something down, do you. I'm not going to do it. I sit there and talk about it and do commentary like I'm doing there safely in my home. But if that's what you have to do to bring awareness and justice and equality and change, then we got to do what we got to do. Sometimes you got to light something on fire to get some attention. I'm just saying. You got to do what you got to do, okay? Even Dr. King said riots is a cry for those that are not unheard. Y'all know the quote and everything like that. You even Al Sharpton was there talking about prayer. Them folks, because of course they bring out, let me tell you the game though. They bring Al Sharpton out. He gets Eric Garner mother out. And what he does is, let's pray. He's trying to dilute the situation. But them young folks, they ain't with that. They talk about if we don't get justice, burn, baby, burn. I'm just saying. Now, but you ain't do it to the cops. So now this is what I'm saying. Y'all got to be strategic. If you gonna burn some with bigger impact. Y'all burning up y'all stores and stuff like that. So I do put a tweet out. What about them young brothers or sisters that lost their job because of the stores being burned up? Of course, I personally invest in different stores. I think I invest in Walmart. I think I invest in Target. But they do have insurance. So, but my thing is this. When they couldn't get to them police officers, baby, they couldn't get to them home because, baby, they had 100 cops protecting that house. They were ready. Because while y'all up there burning up y'all neighborhood, we going to deploy people to this neighborhood. We going to protect our neighborhood. So if you just burn up your neighborhood, that's you. Then where you gonna go? You ain't gonna better go to Target. Everything is stolen. Then it was a white woman, that lady. I don't know who told you to leave your nursing home and get in that wheelchair and trying to stand up for Target. Man, rolling Becky got in her motor chair, tried to take up for Target. Rolling Becky should have stayed in that nursing home. The CNAs weren't checking up on her. She didn't escape out the nursing home trying to protect Target and got sprayed with a fire extinguisher. Rolling Becky got sprayed with a fire extinguisher because she trying to stab folks with Parkinson's disease. Sit down and get back to that. Get back to Perkin Pines nursing facility, and you stay there and make sure your CNAs change you. You had no right going over there and trying to stand up and try to stab folks. You know them folks gonna spray you. You already know that. You had no right going over there. I was like, what the world is she doing over there? What is you doing? That ain't no time. You didn't see Al Sharpton. You ain't see Al Sharpton out there when all that stuff was burning. He comes once the fire is gone and diluted, and then they let them do that in their neighborhood. And then what they do is they bring out they bring Reverend Al Sharpton to calm the blacks down. So, but I will play this video. Give me a second, because it is a video that I do want to play. She wasn't even no, she was disabled. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. You don't have to be old to be a nurse home. She was disabled. She was in a motor chair. That's what we talk about. She was in a motor chair. I call her Rolling Becky. Okay, so we do have the phone lines open. Do you believe that protesting, do you stand with that? Do you believe in riots? Do you believe that riots will work? Do you believe that it's strategic for us to do that? Do you believe that it's strategic for us to definitely protest and burn stuff up? Do you believe that change is going to happen with that? Or what is your strategy? Do you believe that people should burn stuff up and tear up their own communities? Let me know in the comments. And the video that I'm going to play is this sister video of this white woman actually said something that I think every white American in the world need to take heed to this woman, because she spoke truth to power. So after this video, I am going to allow the callers to call in and give their opinion. So we're going to play this video right now.
Hey guys, I know this is not going to be, anything particularly original. Many of you have probably, thought this, seen this, heard this, or whatever. I'm not on the news and normal news feeds and all that other kind of stuff, like at all. So I had just heard yesterday, while I was doing a welcome call with one of our intercessors, about the whole incident with George Floyd. And I am not one to jump on conspiracy theories, and I don't get into all this identity politics and all that other kind of stuff. And I will not jump into something until, I have facts first. And I will, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff where law enforcement is involved and whatnot. My husband was in law enforcement for 25 years. And so I will say with that, on that note, everybody absolutely loved my husband. My husband is an amazing and honorable man and such a lover of people. But there was definitely crap that goes on police departments. I will say that. However, in relation to this situation, and oftentimes in the past, we have seen situations where, the media puts a twist on things, right? And they, didn't show that, the man pulled a gun or had just, beat his, wife to a pulp or, whatever, all kinds of situations. They just show, the end result. And I'm not trying to justify or make excuses or anything like that. I'm just saying that when stuff like this comes out, I hold off until I get the context of the situation. Not that anything really justifies someone losing their life, but there is such a thing that they call out there, death by cop, in the sense that there's people that are half cocked, they're on drugs, they're whatever, and they will purposely pull a weapon on police officers, enforce the situation where they end up getting shot and blah, blah, blah. And, a lot of times there's a history of suicide attempts and crazy stuff. So knowing that, I typically hold off before I say something. This situation, however, has me so bothered, so pissed off. I am trying to not take judgment in my own hands. I am trying to hold on to my religion, as they say, because there's that justice piece that I carry. I have a really strong justice bent. Always have, probably always will. As a kid, used to get in fights constantly, defending the underdog. Never got in a fight like for myself. Always defending. So I have a really strong justice bent. And so watching the video yesterday, I don't give a rat's behind what transpired prior to this cop holding this man down. It does not matter, simply because the fact of what I saw was this man was fully detained and no longer struggling. He was handcuffed, belly down on the freaking ground, and barely breathing, right? Pleading for his life that he couldn't breathe. This police officer, who is trained in, self-defense measures, trained in the ability to detain someone, knew that this person was no longer a threat, that the force that was being used was no longer necessary. I am so livid. I don't care. I'm so watching my words, you guys. I'm so trying to be careful with my words right now because I obviously want to respect and honor my audience as well. I don't care that he got fired. Who cares that these police officers got fired? I want the gosh darn trial to start, because this was straight up, no questions asked, murder. This was murder. This was a lynching of sorts. Whether it was racially motivated or not, I don't care. I don't care if the man was black, if he was Oriental, if he was Hispanic, or he was another white man. What happened was straight up murder. Now, with that said, I am not going to detract from the fact that this was a black man. I don't get the racism thing. So I have been one of the people that have been like, no, this can't be racially motivated. And I hear the black community with, the Black Lives Matter and all this stuff. And I hear them and saying there's so much racism going on. And for people like me that don't have a grid for racism, I don't see it because I don't relate to it. So first of all, forgive me for not having that lens. I don't ever want to have that lens. But I don't also want to detract from my brothers and sisters that are going through hell. And if that is the case, it is going to take every freaking white American to stand up and make a difference, to stand up and say, oh, hell no, not in my country, not on my watch, not in my lifetime. This is going to stop. If this is actually what's going on, that we have Black Americans that are literally afraid of law enforcement because this kind of crap is going on, it's not the Black Americans' responsibility to stand up and try and change that. If it is rooted in racism, if it is rooted in any kind of white supremacist crap, it is our job to stand up. I will tell you that I have been one that's like, okay, so when there's a Muslim terrorist attack, the Muslims need to stand up and reject those people out of their religion, right? The peaceful, loving, wonderful Muslims need to go, oh, well, hell no, you're not Muslim. Get the hell out. I'm saying the same thing for white people. We need to stand up and look at whoever this is, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's whatever organization of white people, and say, oh, hell no, you are not American. Oh, hell no, you don't embody what we stand for. And oh, hell no, you're not welcome in this country, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how to fix this problem other than every white American using their peer pressure and saying, this is not okay. And I will say the only thing I can think of that might change this within law enforcement is there needs to be, special circumstances that if a law enforcement officer unduly causes the death of no matter what color the person is, they need to be like prosecuted worse, because they're supposed to have a standard that is far and above beyond any of us, right? They're law enforcement. They should be elevated to a much higher standard and bar than the rest of us. Therefore, in my opinion, they should be prosecuted at a higher standard. In my opinion only, and you guys can disagree. You can say I'm half-cocked. I don't really care. My opinion, those officers need to face the death penalty, period. I don't know what else would be worse. And I don't mean the death penalty in some cushy prison either. I'm pissed off. If this is what's going on in our country, it's your responsibility and it's my responsibility to put a stop to it. It's not the victim's responsibility to put a stop to it. It's just like this freaking Me Too movement. People need to step in and stop the perpetrators. Don't make the victims have to put a stop to it and be victimized further. The Black community should not be leading this. This needs to be led by the white community. We need to put a stop to this. I'm certainly hoping that there is something on the agenda at the federal government level that's going, okay, enough is a freaking enough. I totally believe in backing the blue. I totally believe in law enforcement and the good men and women that are called to be civil servants that have a heart for humanity and community in general. Totally back them. But those that shouldn't be, those that are tainted, those that have their own agendas, those that are power hungry, those that have polluted the system, they need to be dealt with, and they need to be dealt with harshly. My opinion, I should probably get off my rant. I'm just so infuriated, so infuriated. I'm partially infuriated at the white people for us not doing something already. And I'm one of them. I'm one of them because I didn't get it. I didn't have the lens to see it. I'm like, racism? What racism? I'm not racist against anybody. But you know what? There's crap out there. There's pollution out there. I do have to remind myself that we do not fight against flesh and blood, that we fight against powers and rulers and principalities of darkness. And they're the ones that are pulling the strings of the idiots that are being their puppets. So with that said, the prophetic and intercession community sure as hell better stand up in a greater stance to fight this where it needs to be fought. So we're not just constantly chasing around picking the fruit, but we actually cut off the head. We cut off the root of this tree that's producing racism in our country. It is long past time to stop it. America is supposed to be a city on a hill. America is supposed to be a light to the rest of the world. And I tell you what, where the hell's the light? Where's the light? Who's going to stand up and start a movement? What white community is going to stand up and start a movement that protects our brothers and sisters? We have this huge movement that has to do with human trafficking and slavery, as far as trafficking goes. We need a movement bigger than that. We need a movement bigger than that. I'll be taking this to our leadership and see what gets birthed from there. If you're going to birth a movement, reach out. Let's join arms because this has to stop.
All right.
This has to stop. Love you guys.
Thank you so very much. So that was Melissa, a woman that video that actually went viral all over social media. So we definitely shared that on our Facebook page. So the number is 646-716-8447. And she said something so true. This should be led by white people. Definitely is the truth. So the number is 646-716-8447 is the number. Let's call in. Press 1 and to speak on the matter. Do you believe into this riot? Do you believe that Black people should do that? What action? What do you believe that's a good solution? This is the time that you can voice your opinion. Anonymous, you live on the air.
Is that me?
Yes, go ahead.
Greetings, Wiley. How are you? This is Malta.
All right, greetings.
Okay. Our ancestors sacrificed, suffered, and died so that we can walk around free, right? And people are not doing as much as they should. This generation is not doing as much as they should. Our ancestors did not die for us to sit back and say, oh, let's just protest, or let's just make phone calls, because that is doing nothing. Protesting and making phone calls is not doing anything. The amount of racism that I have seen in just a few days alone, they have to, unfortunately, sacrifices have to be made. Buildings have to be burned. It has to affect white people. It has to affect white people's pockets for them to stand up and do something. We can't just sit back and say, oh, it's destroying our community. Oh, but what about the jobs? What about people losing their jobs? No. What about cops killing our Black men and women constantly every day? This man hasn't even been arrested yet. When are we gonna start a revolution? When is this generation gonna start a revolution and do more than we're doing right now? We can't just sit back and constantly take all of this and just hope that things will change.
All right.
That's just a simple example. The Me Too movement. Is it now that white men raping Black women or men raping women? The white women knew it was happening when the slave masters was outside raping the slaves, but it didn't matter because it didn't affect them. But now that it affects them, they stand up and talk about it now, only because it affects them. So we have to do what affects white people, so they would get up and start talking and do more. Burn Target down, burn CVS down, burn all of it down. We can't just sit back and take all this shit and watch our people just continue to die every day for absolutely no reason. And people should be way more outraged and way more goddamn angry because we need to be doing more. I'm tired of it. This thing has stressed me out. I've cried for days. I'm so frustrated and tired of it. And we have to do more than we're doing. Not just sit back and talk out about, we can't. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you so very much. And this is great. I agree with what you're saying. We have to definitely put our resources to action. And this is time for action. this is not really a time to be distracted. This is really time for action. Me personally, I am on a sense of let's make it make sense and take it to the political front as well. Keep that same energy at the polls. Keep that same energy talking to the leadership, because just like what the woman said on the video, that if the government needs to get involved as well. And she said, I'm going to let my leadership know that of this situation. And that's what's going to have to happen. And that's why it is required of white America to do a better job to help in this problem, because you can no longer stay silent when you're seeing black bodies are being, black men and women are being killed for no reason. And that officer, and speaking of that officer, the prosecutor he done a lot of misconduct in the past. And the senator that Joe Biden is vetting for a VP choice is it Amy Klobuchar? I don't know her name. She's being vetted for a VP choice, and she was responsible on his case, and she refused to press and to prosecute him. The officer that killed George Floyd, he actually was brought to her office, brought to attention, and she refused to prosecute him as well as many other officers. And she should not be considered to be a vice president, because if she would have done her job years ago, George would have still been living today. You just can't ask for our vote and want to be the VP choice when you done fucked up your job and your responsibility of being a prosecutor. Your job was to prosecute and you didn't do it. Now, the prosecutor that is there now in Minneapolis, I do believe they need a special prosecutor that needs to be over the case, because the prosecutor they have now, he said he want to wait until all the facts come out. The fact, we seen the video. The police officer was on George's neck for 9 minutes. The man was screaming. He couldn't breathe. He was crying out for his mom. Then you had a witness that said, get off his neck. He needs to breathe. And he kept his knee on there. Then they said the man was on drugs. They lied. So they definitely need to be arrested and charged and convicted and charged with murder and the death penalty. They need to get the needle, because a life for an eye, a life for a life, because they took an innocent man's life. And I'm glad that President Trump so you got the Department of Justice, the FBI in charge of that. They need to be in charge of that too. I believe the Department of Justice need to investigate the Minneapolis Police Department because they need to be investigated, because that, to me, the police department failed him. All of the government agencies is failing the black community in Minneapolis. So the black community is fed up. Historically, when things of this nature happen, it will be riots, and that is just going to be. It will never stop. And when black people feel as though that they are being mistreated, they're going to burn some things down. It is what it is. When you feel you're going to tear up some library books, when you feel having a racial rampage that do exist, you have trauma and all of that. So someone said they don't have the death penalty in that state. Well, they should have it. If people actually vote and get the right type of candidates in there to change the Constitution and the laws, it could be implemented. But we have to keep that same energy. The same way we burning stuff down, we need to be the same way going to the polls and voting these folks out of office. We need to keep that same energy. The same way we are burning stuff down, we need to keep that same energy and voting these people out and voting the people in office that have our interests at hand. Because a lot of people in Minneapolis need to be voted out. They should never be in that position. But when you don't go to the polls, when you stay at home, you will continue to get the same results. You will continue to get the same results. So that's what I want to say on that. And in my close, Dr. King spoke about this. Let me see if I can pull that video up. Let me see. Do I have that video very quickly? Let me see if I can pull up the audio. They just put it up. Let me see if I can pull it up on Twitter. Did I retweet it? Let me see. Oh, really, really quickly. I should have automatically had this set up on my channel. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. This is the video I want to see. We're going to play this clip and we're going to bring this show to a close. And if anybody want to call in, this is your chance. So hit the number 646-716-8447 because we're not going to be here all day.
Start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So we're going to continue this.
To start your show now, press 1.
Let me get
To hear
the
important instructions,
phone
press
lines
2.
back up. Give me a second.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
All right. There we go. Let me exit out of this. Let me do this. Okay. There. All right. Can y'all see me and hear me? Are we good? Okay, let's go. We're gonna go redo this video really quickly. Where the video at? Right here. All right. Let's screen share this. Excuse me about that. All right. All righty. Let's screen share this. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. All right. Here we go. This is the video that I want to play. Let's do this.
As we condemn riots, I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air.
There we go.
Certain conditions continue to exist in our society, which must be condemned as vigorously as we condemn riots. But in the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard. What is it that America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that the plight of the Negro poor has worsened over the last few years. It has failed to hear that the promises of freedom and justice have not been met. And it has failed to hear that large segments of white society are more concerned about tranquility and the status quo than about justice, equality, and humanity. And so in a real sense, our nation's summers of riots are caused by our nation's winters of delay. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
All right. So you definitely heard that. And it's the truth. And it's been the truth many, many years later. We're still doing that. The riots is because of when it's injustice, it's just definitely going to happen. So, but what we're saying is to the government, change the policy. You arrest the officer, charge them, justice be served. We need we definitely need swift, we need more strict policies on police officers. Shouldn't be just as easy for them just to kill and not get any type of action. I believe they move very slow when it comes to arresting a police officer versus a regular citizen like myself. If I do something like that, immediately I am arrested. But when they do it, it's a process. We need to investigate. But the normal citizen don't have that power. Okay. So the number is 646-716-8447. If anybody want to call in, you're more than welcome to call in for that. We definitely are telling people to be safe out there in those streets. I know a lot of people, I think some people been protesting. Some of my subscribers were sending me videos and pictures. They've been out there protesting as well. So I'm with you. I support you. But one thing that I want us to do is to keep that same energy on November. Not only just keep that same energy in November, keep that same energy by going to those meetings. Keep that same energy by going to those community meetings as well and voting these people out, and to stay on these prosecutors when they drop the ball when it comes to prosecuting these officers. And if they drop the ball, vote they asses out of office. Excuse my language. Vote them out of office. Just that clearly. All right.
Yes. Have you heard? The Wiley Show is expanding and will now be on Station Head every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's right. Download Station Head today. You won't, because you don't want to miss Wiley being raw and unfiltered. The Wiley Show every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on Station Head.
Let's do it, yo.
Send it on.
All right. So we thank you all so very much for coming on the Wiley Show today. We are number 4 on Station Head. We thank each and every one of y'all for tuning into the show and supporting us. God bless you and thank you for that. Patreon people, we thank you, and we thank you for being supportive as well, for showing us so much love on Patreon. If you want to see us talk about the beef sector or any other parts of YouTube, you're more than welcome to click that link. Also, if you want to be notified when we go live, the number is 972-674-9462. That will give you direct link of when we go live. Thank you all, and y'all have a wonderful, 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 wonderful evening. I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.